We are back on the Sports Update, and you are just in time to hear from the one and only Stoney. As usual, Stoney?
David, what's going on?
A lot going on. Tigers, what's
Yes.
going on with them? 1 out of 3 against the Orioles, Stoney.
Not too good. You know, I decided to, wear something casual today because I think today's game, the Tigers they played casual. You know, ground ball, routine double play, Omar Infante to Peralta, we're the casual Tigers. Didn't get the double play. That killed them. Some casual pitches by Doug Fister. Even the great Miguel Cabrera, one of the greatest. 3 straight pitches where he doesn't swing. A little too casual, so I decided to dress in honor of the Tigers. When the White Sox go to Kansas City and lose 3 games, and you have a series at home against Baltimore, you should pick up more than 1 game in the standings. Granted, Baltimore is a lot better than people think. I mean, they're ahead of the Tigers in the wild card. But the last 2 nights, today's game and last night, they really had their chances. They could have swept this thing.
I saw your tweet earlier about Fister having that great 5-run cushion. How do you blow that?
Yeah, well, that double play that I talked about, that hurt. And it happens. He didn't pitch well, and he's been so good for a stretch. That stuff happens. But, casual lineup, the Sunday lineup. Andy Dirks needs to play every day. I'm sorry. It didn't affect today's game. But that guy, I don't care if righties pitching, which he's great, even at the lefties, he's got to play every day. And it's time for Bosch to hit the pine. I think you got to go Barry, Jackson, and Dirks every game, and Delman be your DH.
Orioles now lead Detroit by 2 games in the race for the second wild card spot in the American League. So heading into the series now on Tuesday, Scherzer gets the nod against Toronto in the opener of a 3-game set. Does Coach Leland mix up the lineup a little bit, as you kind of pointed to, or what does he want to do?
I don't know. They have a problem in the 5-hole. Granted, Peralta, came through today with the home run. He had a big hit yesterday, but still, they were hitting like 247 out of the 5-hole heading into the weekend, and that's really not too good. I'd bet Dirk's 5th, but that's why I'm here, and Jim Leland's doing what he's been doing for a long time. Toronto's a tough team. They haven't been playing real well, but they're getting healthy. Hopefully for the Tigers, Batista won't come back this week. Chances are he will. And, you got Scherzer, who's been pitching really well. Yes. He goes Tuesday. Annabelle goes Wednesday, and they need a decent start from him. And the White Sox have the Yankees coming to Chicago, so maybe the Tigers can actually pick up some ground. It's just going to be like this until the end of the season. They have 7 games with the White Sox. That's going to determine it. No
concerns from the bats of Prince Fielder, Miguel Cabrera, or Austin Jackson, obviously, right?
Yeah, right now. Well, Austin went through a little bit of a dip, but he came back today and had 2 hits.
Well, you know what? Tigers is one thing. Lions, first preseason win against Baltimore, not bad.
No, I think they played pretty good. The Stafford, Calvin Johnson thing was really good. Had trouble running the ball a little bit, which we kind of knew. I liked the way Riley Reef played, but what bothered me a little bit and bothered Jim Schwartz, obviously, penalties. Just like we saw last year, undisciplined penalties. Nick Fairley had a couple. They got to cut those down. Special teams were a problem, but don't get too high when they win preseason. I don't get too low last week when they lost the preseason. It's preseason, and nobody really got banged up that severely because Stefan Logan appears that he'll be okay.
Yes, X-rays were negative, as Coach Schwartz pointed out there. So
we could see LeSure on Saturday against the Raiders.
Well, he did say at practice today, well, we can see what might happen, but it'd be nice for him to get a little preseason conditioning in.
Absolutely.
Before sitting out those 2 games.
No doubt about it.
You bet. Okay, the AP College Top 25 poll released yesterday, Stoney.
Yeah.
Michigan State 13, Michigan 8. Do you think they got it right with USC at number 1?
I think they got it right with USC at number 1, although USC always seems to lose a game that they shouldn't, whether it's Oregon. Oregon's really good, though, or Cal. But, it's fine with USC. I think Sports Illustrated had it right. I think Michigan State is going to be a little better than Michigan. I think they're close. But there's one vote in that whole AP thing that just really bothered me a little bit. In fact, it makes it the Stonehead of the Week, Bob Asmussen of the Champaign News-Gazette, I believe is the newspaper. He covers Illinois, and maybe he's just not used to seeing good football. I don't know what it is. Look, I love Michigan. I like Michigan State. But Bob Asmussen voted Michigan the #1 team in the country. Have you seen that schedule? How can Michigan be ahead of USC, be ahead of Alabama, be ahead of tons of schools even ahead of Wisconsin or even Michigan State for that matter. Most people do. Ahead of Oklahoma. What are they doing in Champaign? Drinking champagne, smoking this, smoking that? I know he said, you know, they've Denard back and all that. That's great. Number one in the country? Bob, come on. You're a stonehead. God, I hope you're wrong, because if they end up number one in the country, Dave, I'll tell you right now, my head's being shaved. I'm gonna bring Asmussen in, and he can shave my head.
That was pretty classic, seeing the random first place vote. All of a sudden,
Michigan?
Yeah, it's like there's a number one in parentheses. So.
I mean, look, it would be great, but I just don't think they're going to be the number one team in the country. Call me crazy.
Great stuff, Stoney. Before I let you go,
Yes.
Brad Keselowski, really nice job today, didn't he, over at MIS? Almost came close.
Yeah, I watched. Actually, I'm not a big NASCAR guy, but I turned it on. He was leading, and then Jimmy Johnson passed him, and I thought it was over. I turned it off and found out that Biffle won. But it's good to see that a local kid like Keselowski did a nice showing at MIS.
Well, you just pretty much wrapped up the whole race. That's what happened at the end. So
Okay.
Nicely done, Stoney.
Thank you.
As always, great to see you.
All right, we'll see you next week.
You can catch Stoney 6 to 10 a.m., 97.1 The Ticket, weekdays.
Stoney's Stonehead of the Week is brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, the best mortgage bankers. Call 1-800-LOW-RATE.